whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla.
Versus William
Peace.
H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
Yes, you can subscribe to our Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause to get updates on our book, and you can go to Amazon and Kindle and order the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States. That is the Facebook page. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask if you would, you can go to NorniesCreoleBlends.com. Try out some Nornie's Creole seasoning blends. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nornie's goes great with every dish. Of course, the best way to support our channel is to donate at our various options at the bottom, from the Cash App to the GooglePay, PayPal, and Zelle. Donate and support our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, our topics for this evening, of course, you're tuning in. It is Random Topic Sundays, the hottest live stream on YouTube. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. We discussed the following: K and Pete Davidson call it Splitsville. 86-year-old man sentenced for murder, so why can't that be done for a certain someone? And Senate passes Biden's climate bill. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we like to talk about uh, and promote our music. So we have options including Video Soul and Gotta Get On Up, which is always our theme song. So before we get on down, why don't we go on ahead and let's get on up.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor, gotta get on up. To answer your question, Jay, because you said, how's the song charting? The song has gone double plastic, as far as I'm concerned. I'm the only one practically when I that plays it as my theme song. I know some people may have downloaded it already. Some people have probably bought it already, but you know, as far as it goes, uh, I have not yet. The song has not, charted. It's been around for over a year. Of course, it's always good if you have uh, someone that would be willing to support the channel, someone that would be willing to, I guess, if it was a big artist that wanted to record one of my songs, then obviously it'll go bigger. But as you know, it's just based off the amount of plays now. Music is hard. It's not hard necessarily to make music, but to get out there and even promote it is not hard. But it's not the people who get obviously the big deals, the people that are making the most money, are the ones that are well known. Yeah, it was influenced by Rocksteady, by the Whispers. Yeah, that's why we did the tribute to the Whispers. We also have a little tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire when you're, oh baby, oh baby, the background harmonies. I'm glad you love it, Jade. Tell more people about it. Buy it. I'm trying to get more exposure. Shout out to Nikki Ivory. She's watching. Nikki, I had reached out to you via Facebook Messenger. I hope you're doing well. Please look out. Get back with me. Jade, I can tell you're a audiophobe because I see the little record player in your avatar right there. So, what's up, family? It's Sunday. Yeah, it ain't no mountain high enough. If you need me, that's how Diana Ross would say. I want you to call me. Yeah. And I want everybody, everybody with you. And I want yeah, reach out and touch. Listen up, somebody's hand. Make my nose smaller. Yes, you know, if you can, everybody. Reach out and touch. Listen up, somebody's hand. Don't wanna look like an African. Reach out and touch a plastic surgeon's hand. Make my nose smaller if you can. Reach out and touch a plastic surgeon's hand. Don't wanna look like an African. If you feel like you're breathing too loud and you need that new scene in a movie, just try to pick up the phone and Google the surgeon that's right by the home. Reach out and touch. Thank you, Jade. I appreciate it. I actually am working on a new song. I finished the lyrics and so forth. It's just a matter of recording it and touching up the music. So while I'm home today and this week, I'm gonna work on doing that. You could request the radio station. Yeah, you could if you wanted to, but usually, I mean, radio DJs they play what's the business of music has changed now. You have iHeartRadio that owns most of your R&B stations. iHeartRadio, of course, you have satellite radio. They can play it if they want to, but they have to do sync licensing, and they can get in touch with me if they wanted to do that. So that's really how you get paid is through sync licensing and mechanical royalties. But we're gonna talk about the music industry a little later. I wanted to get into the topics because I don't want to be here all day. I know a lot of people are gonna jump on Jason Black's channel, so let's talk about this. I'm gonna start with this first. I would have done the last, but Kim K and Pete Davidson call it Splitsville. That's right. For 9 months, the couple have been dating since December of last year. Kim Kardashian has been dating Kanye West's rival, Pete Davidson. You know, Pete Davidson, who is on SNL. He had been engaging with this married woman who I believe they still are divorced. They have not divorced as of yet, hadn't been finalized, but they're separated. Kim K and Pete Davidson have been dating each other. You know, I say that he called him his rival only not in the sense that Pete Davidson can hold a candle to your Kanye West, but he does have a history, especially being on SNL, always clowning the Kardashian family and your Kanye West, and even to the point where he actually had his kids' names, I believe, tattooed on him. Now, that's the foolish part. But according to today and its news stories, it's been reported that the
Sources
couple
tell E!
have
News
broken
that
up,
long distance and busy schedules made it difficult for Kim and Pete to maintain
and
a relationship.
they have called it quits. I'm sorry, I hear my folks in the back.
So expect to see that romance on the next season of The Kardashians, with Pete appearing in the trailer for the new show. So Peter and Kristen, something to look forward to there, right?
So that's just from the Today Show. So it was reported. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning that, Jade. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to focus on this. I'm glad you listen to a lot of old school music, but hold that thought because something was brought to my attention since you brought that up. But yeah, Kim K and Pete Davidson have broken up. They cited their busy schedules as one of the reasons for the split. 9 months of dating. They also say they both travel all the time, and it was hard. The E! News was the first to report news of the Kardashian 41 and Davidson split. Representative for both stars did not immediately respond to people's requests for comments. Now, Kim K has been well known. She has been around let's just say, how she's made her money. Everybody knows is from the streets. Kim K has made her and her family, for that matter, are known not because they have talent, not because they are, not because they're creative, but because of sex. That's how they got their start. And I should also say because of OJ, because remember, your Robert Kardashian Sr. was OJ Simpson's friend and lawyer at the trial. Well, one of his lawyers that sat with Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey, and Alan Dershowitz, and so forth at the his murder trial. Now, your Kim Kardashian, she became famous, well known, because in the early 2000s, someone, just a la Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson, ripped off her sex tape with Brandy's brother, Ray J, where they filmed their sexual escapades. And she was able to sue to get the rights back and got millions of dollars from it as a result, and as such was able to build this empire because she subsequently got the TV show on E! That with the help of Ryan Seacrest, who created that show, and her sisters Courtney and Chloe, as well as her brother Robert, and even Bruce Jenner, or now Caitlyn Jenner, and his children, with his ex-wife, their Kim K's mother. They were able to, Chris, yeah, her name's Chris. I was thinking of it. They were able to make hundreds of millions of dollars on this and built a empire. In fact, the younger daughters of Chris and Bruce Jenner, if I'm not mistaken, are One of them, Kylie, is a multi-billionaire. So supposedly is a billionaire, but she's built this empire from modeling, from having her name on top of this, and they've been successful. So I can't knock them on their hustle. Their mom has taught their daughters how to hustle the game and hustle men in particular. And Pete Davidson is your latest uh, bowling pin to be knocked down, because the Kardashians and Kim K, she's known for knocking a lot of men down. If it's not Ray J, it was Chris Humphries. If it wasn't Chris Humphries, it was Kanye West. Let's not forget also Ray J. We also have though she has the kids with, uh, she has kids with Kanye. And Kanye, of course, Kanye wasn't right from the beginning, but Kim Kardashian uh, was with this man, was friends with him actually, while she was married to Chris Humphries. If I'm not mistaken, that's when they actually started dating. So, but your Pete Davidson was the one that was always cracking jokes on the Kardashian family. Now, of course, I can't share stuff like that because SNL, they have their copyrights that go on. And that, of course, hinders people, even if you're claiming fair use, from showing stuff, because they'll do that. However, just looking at this information here, his relationships and family. Remember, Kanye had lost his mother, your Dr. Donna West, who he was extremely close with, and I believe that played a factor in his mental capacity, especially what happened to him, because she had issues after plastic surgery that had occurred, uh, according to the reports. But they began dating in 2012. And you say it's karma for Kim and even bigger karma for Pete. I'm going to talk. I'm glad somebody brought up R. Kelly. I'm not talking about R. Kelly right now, but to answer your question, I am familiar with what the prosecutors have done in this case, and I know his lawyers are filing an appeal, have filed an appeal. I know also there's some issue going on with one of the DAs who apparently, in one case, was blogging the trial. Um, and I believe lawyers, not with R. Kelly, but someone associated with R. Kelly, was filing an appeal based off that, because that person, I believe, had a trial. I don't want to misstate the facts, but I don't want to deviate from what we're talking about here. But look how many, she's been married 1, 2, 3 times. Every man she has dated, something bad happens to him. So I don't know, Pete Davidson, this will probably be his last year on SNL. I heard they were doing tryouts for Saturday Night Live, because a couple of people are not returning to SNL. I've never been an SNL fan, but she married Damon Thomas, who was a music producer. They divorced back in 2003. Then she started dating Ray J after the divorce, and then after Ray J, it was Chris Humphries, and we haven't even heard from Chris Humphries since he married Kim Kardashian. And we heard that it wasn't, I always suspected their wedding wasn't real to begin with. I thought it was staged, and they even say, I thought it was staged myself, personally, but she sued a guy who said it was staged, and that didn't happen. You got to be careful what you say. I'm giving my opinion. I believe. I didn't say it's for a fact. So she's been declared legally single. Okay, so she was declared legally single on March 2nd, 2022. So she's not married now, but she was married when she's obviously started dating Pete Davidson, because it was in 2021. And this motherfucker is supposed to be funny. I remember when he clowned, Dan Crenshaw, who was a congressional candidate. Yeah, he made fun of the war hero who wore the eye patch. Yeah, and the guy got to clown him on SNL. Yeah, he gonna have to pay for all that shit because he got those kids' names on his skin. Remember when this happened too? He made a lot of remarks about Kanye. Especially with him spending time with their kids, because he was hurt over that and reportedly was having trouble
that
with
he's
it.
not pleased with his ex, Kim Kardashian's new boyfriend, Pete Davidson, getting close with his kids.
Why is he looking
Recall
like a
this week, the
feline,
comedian
man?
and Saint were spotted at the Grove in West Hollywood and a Walmart in Woodland Hills, where Hollywood Life exclusively learned that they spent time closely examining toys. Well, when it comes to seeing all of this news, a source tells Hollywood Life that although Ye knows the bond he has with his kids is unbreakable, for Pete and the kids to get so close so fast is deeply unsettling for him, and he just wishes things were different. Well, hopefully this means that we won't get any more videos similar to PT.
Yeah, she did mess with Reggie Bush. I forgot about that. Reggie Bush, Miles Austin. Remember all of those? Remember what happened to all of those guys she messed with? Remember what Chloe was messing with Lamar Odom and the motherfucker OD. Same thing with the only one that's normal you can see is Courtney, but she's even messing with some dude with that. She's married now, I believe. But Chris, we can go even to the big mama, Kris Jenner. She married and fucked around with Bruce, and he turned into a woman. So what does that tell you? Something that Kardashian pussy is not good. Kardashian pussy, you get Kardashian cooch, you're gonna end up either drugged out or dicked off. One of the two. Drugged out, dicked off, or crazy. He never maintains a relationship. No, he was messing with Ariana Grande. That didn't work out. He messed with Kate Beckinsale. That didn't work out. But that's how those Hollywood relationships are. They're fluid. They're not stable. Because they're always working. They always have a busy schedule. And on top of that, whoever they're messing with, on the set of films, they'll end up falling for someone else. 90% of the time, that's what happens. But what y'all think of this? They hit Splitsville. I mean, I know most of y'all can really give a damn less, but I thought I would talk about this. Kanye and Kim and Pete Davidson call it Splitsville. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. What do y'all think of it? If anything, hit that like and share and subscribe button. Let everybody know we're in the building, ladies and gentlemen. You can also donate to our Cash App, PayPal, GooglePay, and Zelle. We also have Venmo as well to support the channel. As you know, it's not monetized. Okay, so one of the last things I want to talk about. We got 2 more topics left. Let's talk about this. Senate passes Biden's climate bill. Now, let me come back to something. I said Biden's bill is actually not a bill that he drew up, but it's called the Inflation Reduction Act. before I get into that, someone had asked a question or brought up something. Jay, you brought up a very important topic. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, and maybe I should have talked about it a little earlier, but you caught my attention when I saw this. Uh, from earlier yesterday, our friend Nicole, had this posted on her page, and I want to talk about this. I guess we can talk about it because it was about the world of music right now. It's from theringer.com. They actually said this is the old music killing new music. So you have here Ted Gallier. They discussed the power of nostalgia in pop culture. So they said here, why does it seem like the old is eating the new in pop culture? This year, the song of the summer is arguably Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, which was released in 1985. It was launched by the most watched global TV show of the summer, Stranger Things, an homage to the 1980s. In movies, the biggest hit of the season is Top Gun Maverick, a sequel to the 1986 film. The 80s was 4 decades ago. Well, not all of the 80s was 4 decades ago. I'm not 40 yet. The triumph of nostalgia and familiarity in culture is deeper than one summer. The 5 biggest movies of this year are the second Top Gun, the second Doctor Strange, the sixth Jurassic Park, and the 14th Batman-related film, and the fifth Despicable Me. Amazing original films like Everything Everywhere All at Once show up here and there, but as far as slam dunk blockbusters go, the last decade has suffered from a new movie curse. There's a new music curse too. Total music consumption is rising across album sales, track purchases, and streaming, but consumption of new music is down. The entire growth in music is happening in so-called catalog music or older songs. What's happening here? Now, they go through, and I'm not going to read all of it because we got to go through this. But this guy, as I'm reading this, he says this. These are songs that are older than 18 months, but in fact, when you dig into it, it seems like in many ways, these are songs that are older than 10, 20, 30 years. And everything seems to be converging here. The data now shows that more than 70% of the songs streamed are old songs. Just a few months ago, it was like 65 to 66%, and so it's inching up. Adding on to that, you find that the biggest era of investment in music is publishing catalogs of older artists. Absolutely. You see, older artists have a catalog that's going to live on forever. If you take, for instance, let's just talk about it. Let's say Michael Jackson. Let's say Prince. They came up in the 80s as solo artists, and that's when they were at their peak. And at that time, that was a different era. You know, the MTV era that they were in, that was revolutionary. And most people miss and have a taste of nostalgia for those songs because the styles of music that supposedly changed because of Michael Jackson and a Prince. Now, the artistry that they had, the artistry as compared to that era is lacking, to say the least. Yes, they have Bruno Mars, who's a great artist, but is Bruno Mars better than Michael Jackson? Is Bruno Mars up there with Prince? Yes, he's a talented songwriter. He can play different instruments. He knows his music, and yeah, what he does is he takes R&B music from the 80s and repackages it for 2020 crowd. And he's not a black man, but people will buy it. But it's just not the same today. And Michael Jackson's catalog, Prince's catalog, even the Beatles, Elvis, that music is a license to print money. They're in the lexicon of pop culture. You say Her is really good. Her is good, but Her doesn't strike me. She's not someone I would like. If her came on, she's not someone I'm rushing to go see. Charlie Wilson is great, although he's technically an older artist with the Gap Band, but he repackaged himself and did an entire new catalog of music now. He's teamed up with Bruno Mars. He's teamed up with Snoop Dogg and countless others. But that was interesting. I'm going to put the article, link to the article in the chat, but I want to focus on just a bill that was passed because I want to bring something up. So this climate bill, it's called the Inflation Reduction Act. The Senate passed this on today. So they actually went in today on Sunday to pass this into law. The Senate the Senate voted along party lines, and federal investment we're making it the most significant federal investment in history, according to the New York Times, to counter climate change and lower the cost of prescription drugs as Democrats banded together to push through major pieces of President Biden's domestic agenda over unified Republican opposition. The measure, large elements of which appeared dead just weeks ago amid Democratic divisions, would inject more than $370 billion into climate and energy programs. Altogether, the bill would or could allow the United States to cut greenhouse gas emissions about 40% below 2005 levels by the end of the decade. Now, Joe Manchin went from holdout to deal maker on the climate. And let's be real, it was the tying vote, and I wanted to bring this up for a reason. There's a reason why I brought this up. The tying vote was none other than your Kamala Harris, or as Judge Joe Brown would say, come Queen Harris. This come Queen, she got this damn bill approved and she don't have a damn clue about what's going on. Now, they say it was a great deal maker, but it was 50-50. And she held the deciding vote. She was the tiebreaker.
The clerk will report the bill. Calendar number 464, H.R. 5376, an act to provide for reconciliation pursuant to Title II of S. Conres 14.
Now, I got a question for everybody. How many of you, this is a 755-page bill. Now, how many of you think by a yes or no in the chat, how many of you believe everybody in the House, in the Senate and House actually read what was in this bill? Yes or no? How many of you think all of the members in the House and Senate read the bills? If you remember, Congressman from Michigan, his name was John Conyers. John Conyers openly talked about how they don't even read the majority of the bills that are passed in Congress. And this is the hold on, I want to pull the document up. It's 755 pages. Now, it's called the Build Back, it's actually called, as I'm looking here, if this is it, the Build Back Better plan. Okay, I'm assuming this is it. This has got to be it, because as we look here, hold on, let me stop sharing it. And let me share what you was on congress.gov. No, they never read the bills. None. Thank you, Robert. You are not a sister-fied punk. You are a man. It's time to do man up stuff, son. So there was a meeting, okay, on August 4th. It's called the Build Back Better Plan. So this actually was introduced on September of last year, and it was a committee meeting on August 4th of this year. And this morning, they voted to pass this. Now, I'm trying to figure out what the actual text is in this. So it's a 755 page document. But the reason why I bring this up, for two reasons, and why I want to talk about this, is you see how the Congress can, if they want to, pass things, if they want to pass a bill, if they want to put money into the economy, if they want to give money, and I've shown before time and time again, they can do this. Look at this. This is $10 billion for hazardous fuels reduction programs on National Forest System land within the wildland urban interface. There's an additional $4 billion on determination made solely by the Secretary that hazardous fuels reductions projects within the wildland urban interface described in paragraph 1 have been planned to protect, to the extent practicable, at-risk communities hazardous fuels reduction projects on National Forest System land outside the wildland urban interface area. So I'm bringing this up for that reason. When they want to put their minds to doing something, they can do it. And obviously, if it was passed along party lines, then I don't see how Joe Manchin was a deal maker. If all of the members of the Senate voted on party lines, everybody votes who's Democrat, vote for it. Everybody that's Republican votes against it, and the tiebreaker is the Democrat, is the vice president. Now, I'm bringing this up for a reason, because there are bills that are going through the House, like this gun control bill that they passed that we talked about, banning semi-automatic guns, although it may not make beat the filibuster. There's also talks about this going into law, a Marriage Equality Act, which would make gay marriage and interracial marriages law. I don't know what that will do. But y'all better pay attention to this stuff, because it shows, number one, when our Congress wants to do something, they can do it. But yet, when we ask for things, i.e. reparations, it is always a matter of, well, we're still working on it and researching. And obviously, it's not a matter of not having money, because they can draw up the money. They can obviously draw up the money. No, they have time. They don't waste time reading this stuff. They have their pages that'll read it for them, but they don't take the time and read it. And that's the problem. That is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have a Congress that wants to do whatever the hell they want to do, but not for you. If it only benefits them is when they're going to do something. And of course, they're going to put, I'm wondering what would happen with that Marriage Equality Act thing. Here's the thing. Those bills, even though they're passed through Congress and become law, the Supreme Court, if there is an issue brought, they still get to determine and interpret the law. They can still strike down a law as unconstitutional. So it doesn't necessarily protect it. It does protect them, but it doesn't. Because remember, even the Voting Rights Act of 1965, a portion of it was struck down by the same Supreme Court that stated in Obergefell that same-sex marriage should be constitutional. So they obviously have the power to strike stuff down. They can do this. But getting back to this climate bill, when they have money and they want to spend money on certain things, they have obviously the means to do so. And if they're not doing it for you, i.e. reparations, then that only means one thing. They're not interested. Hit that like and share and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to talk about this case because this caught my interest. Now, this is coming out of Sturgeon Bay, the Sturgeon Bay area. This is in Michigan. And it concerns this man, Richard G. Pierce. Now, your Richard G. Pierce has been convicted on murder charges plus 3 years in a 50-year-old Door County murder case. This is according to the Green Bay Press Gazette, written by Christopher Clough on Yahoo News. An 86-year-old man convicted in April of murdering his wife, who disappeared without a trace almost 47 years ago, was sentenced to life plus 3 years on Friday. Because Richard G. Pierce was convicted of first-degree murder for killing his wife, the life sentence handed down by Door County Circuit Court Judge David Weber was mandatory. Plus, Pierce was convicted for disinterment of a corpse because he moved Carol Jean's body after murdering her. So that means she was already buried somewhere and he moved the body. And for that, he received the maximum sentence of 3 years, which Weber said will be served consecutive to the life sentence. Which means is even if he does life is permanent. I don't know why you would say consecutive, because consecutive means right after you doing life, there's no possibility of parole. The ADA, Nick Rude, stated it would be consecutive rather than concurrent, as requested by defense attorney Kate Zoodmulder. Pierce has created the 329 days must be credited. Yeah, he's credited 329 days. He had already spent custody. The ADA stated the defendant took not only everything from Carol Jean, he also took from her family. The defendant's hiding of Carol Jean's body took away their ability to say goodbye for 46 years. Pierce was arrested in October of 2018 at his trailer home in Sheboygan, Michigan, in the disappearance of his wife, Carol Jean Pierce, on or about September 5th, 1975. At the time, Pierce was stationed with the U.S. Coast Guard in Sturgeon Bay and living with Carol Jean in a trailer in the city. He was due to retire about 2 weeks after Carol Jean's disappearance was reported, moving with his trailer to Michigan. There has been no trace of Carol Jean since, nor has her body been found. 3 relatives of Carol Jean Pierce gave victim statements at the sentence hearing, including her sister Jamie Rowley, her brother Brian Filion, and her son Mark Clark. They all asked that Weber be handed the maximum sentence possible. Weber hand down the maximum sentence possible. According to the statements, they all stated and gave their victim impact statements. Clark stated, "Mr. Pierce, you had the chance to live your life. She never had the chance." So I take it she had a son before she married him, because this Mark Clark gave a statement. He called him Mr. Pierce and he called him Dad. So I take it this is his stepfather. Before handing down the sentence, Weber noted that judges need to look at 3 facets of the case when determining the sentencing: the gravity of the case, the need to protect the public, and the character and rehabilitation of the defendant. Now, it should be noted that Pierce was given a chance to make a statement before sentencing, as his right. However, he declined to do so. He maintained his innocence at the trial, and he still maintains it throughout. And that Carol Jean may have run away. And Zoodmalder said during the hearing that Pierce continues to maintain his innocence. Now, you see this picture here. He is in a wheelchair. You see it up there. He's being led away to prison. This is Richard Pierce at 86 years old being led away to prison. Now, I think you all don't have to think twice about who I'm referring to that has not been prosecuted. I think you know who I'm talking about. Now, she's 88 years old, and this man is 86, so it's not much of a difference. And yes, I know people are going to say it's different states and so forth, but they were able to bring this man to justice for nearly a murder that took place nearly 50 years ago. They made and brought Richard Pierce to justice out in Michigan. As you have seen, even these Nazi war criminals that have been arrested and charged with war crimes at 100 years old, being led away on stretchers, in wheelchairs. And she has moved from various states. Remember, she was in Carolinas. She lived her life in Mississippi. Her sons were still living there. I showed you all that video where the late Ed Bradley actually went up to one of the sons' homes and he threatened Ed Bradley to get off of his porch and get off his property. And now this heifer has been living in Kentucky, and she has been living her life. Now, she is elderly, and yes, she may be and is in her final years. But the point being, justice was brought even to this 86-year-old man in an American court of law. Then why cannot Carolyn Bryant Dunham be brought to justice? Because she needs to be brought to justice and have her day in court like any other person that will be accused or has been accused of a crime. You have an opportunity to get counseling. You have an opportunity to defend yourself against such allegations. That is where, and part of the due process situation starts here in the United States. This woman knowingly, I'm going to say it, she can deny it, and that's her right, but we all know what happened with Emmett Till on the end result. We weren't there and can't imagine, and we can only imagine, God knows what he went through in that shed. Well, I stand corrected, we do know, because J.W. Millam and Roy Bryant, her husband, actually gave that interview where they admitted what they did to this boy. They admitted what they did to Emmett Till. And like an old hag coming out of her door with her dog and her little bag of shit, she has been able to live her life with her and have children, grandchildren. But Emmett Till never got that opportunity. Mamie Till never got to have grandchildren. His son never got the chance to grow up and become something in life. And it was because of her and her husband and her brother-in-law that this happened and took place. Now, she did not have to be the one to actually pull the trigger to have Emmett Till killed. That is not how being charged as a principal works, or an accessory before the fact, as you call it in common law. If you do anything to aid and abet, and I got to do this disclaimer, of course, I am not your attorney. This is just my legal opinion based off my experience, and I'm just an attorney that's giving his opinion. So there's no attorney-client relationship created, but what we call the in cahoot offenses is when someone is charged with everybody. When you're charged as a principal under the revised statute 1424, it states all persons concerned in the commission of a crime, whether present or absent, and whether they directly commit the act constituting the offense, aid and abet in its commission, or directly or indirectly counsel or procure another to commit the crime, they are principals. Y'all got to excuse me, I got to step away 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm sorry, guys. I'm back. I had to step out. But yeah, so see, I lost some of my audience members. I guess everybody's filtering to Jason's channel right now. I'm not going to be longer. But the point I'm making, yeah, if you're a principal, if you aid in its commission in any way, shape, or form, even if you're present or absent, and you directly commit the act constituting the offense, whether they directly commit the act constituting the offense, aid and abet in its commission, or directly or indirectly counsel or procure another to commit a crime, they are called principals. Now, that's Louisiana. Of course, this happened in Mississippi. And I believe, like the penal code, the penal code, model penal code, which is set in Mississippi, the way that they read the law, and I'm going here, and this is on an attorney's website here. Now, this is what they wrote, and you can look at it. An accessory, there's an accessory after the fact. So when you procure a person, is a person who assists and protects someone who committed a crime. So that's an accessory after the fact. But when you say an accomplice, aid and abettor, or accessory before the fact, is someone who encourages or helps plan a crime. An accessory can be charged and indicted the same as the person who committed the crime, even if he was not present at the time and the place that the crime had been committed. An accessory before the fact procures, incites, encourages, counsels, or commands another to commit a crime. So it's deemed a principle under Mississippi law. The difference between an accessory and a principle is often a question of fact and degree of involvement. So an aider or abettor is someone who intentionally participates in criminal activity and actively encourages or further the purpose of the criminal activity. It's in an affirmative matter, meaning you help the perpetrator of a crime or to participate by some affirmative act intending to influence the crime. So when your Mose Wright heard what he said was a voice of a woman or a voice light as a feather, positively identify Emmett. And in my opinion, based off that information, that evidence, because he testified to it in court, that leads me to believe that it was Carolyn Dunham Bryant, who was at that scene of the crime at the time the murder took place, the kidnapping took place. And as such, by her pointing out Emmett, is she not encouraging or further the purpose of the criminal activity? Because remember, they broke into Mose Wright's home at 2 o'clock in the morning with firearms, and at one point even threatening Mose Wright. So we had not only the kidnapping of Emmett Till that took place out of his bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, you also had an aggravated assault. There was also an aggravated burglary. You know, when I was teaching at Southern Law Center as an adjunct in criminal law, I told my students that, you know, multiple crimes will happen at once. You start with the big ones. Obviously, in this case, the big one would have been the kidnapping. Then you have the aggravated assault. They came in with armed weapons, pointed them, and one made a verbal threat to Mose Wright. They asked, "How old are you?" Mose Wright said, "I'm 68." And he said, "Well, do you want to live to be 69? You keep quiet." Now, if that's not a threat, I don't know what is. The warrant is valid. Absolutely, that kidnapping warrant was valid. It was never served by the sheriff at that time because he did not want, according to his opinion, to trouble a married woman with 2 children that Carolyn Bryant had at the time. Oh, but he had no problem troubling a mother who had just lost her son by not executing this warrant. And I call on every black person, every decent person, just don't have to be black. But I want to switch this up. You need to contact, I've already sent the letter off to the Attorney General of the state of Mississippi and asked them to reopen this case. We will not let this ride. We're not going to let this slide. We're going to put pressure on them. They got a Facebook, they got an IG, they got a Twitter, and they got a YouTube account. Go there and let's plug it in. Send them messages. Flood their timelines, flood their phones. This black man who is the first black district attorney of the 4th District. The 4th District, W. Dwayne Richardson. This is his email address. Now, this is a black man. If he wants to, he could enforce this warrant. There's no statute of limitations on murder. Even if you don't win in trial, Mr. Richardson, I would applaud you for doing the right thing. At least trying to get some justice for Emmett Till. Contact them. This is contact info. Send them emails. Right. Do every damn thing, because I'm going to do it. I have been doing it. I will continue to do it. We will not let this slide. We will not let this ride. This was a murder that took place of a 14-year-old boy, not a man, a boy, who did not get to live his life. And she, that bitch, is a direct accomplice to this murder. It's apparent. They got movies coming out on Emmett Till. We know all of this stuff. They got movies, they got deals, and everybody's sitting quiet. Whoopi Goldberg produced the movie. ABC had the docu-series that ran a few months back. Why aren't we moving on this? What Joe Biden has to say about it? What Barack Obama had to say about it? Barack Obama is in Chicago, where Emmett's from. Why has he been silent? Oh, you know why. Thank you. This is the link to MississippiDelta.com, to the Office of the District Attorney. You can go there. I will also post the AG's email contact info. I sent the letter to Lynn Fitch asking her to reopen this case. As the Attorney General, she's the chief prosecutor of the state. She can bring charges, but the DA also has the biggest power to bring charges. I'm going to wrap it up. I said I wasn't going to be long, and I meant it. I appreciate all of you that have been here with me, rocking with me today. I know it's Monday. We got to go back to work. Man, this time is flying by quick. I do want to say this before I get off. I want to send my condolences to a brother by the name of Roger Mosley. Roger Mosley is an actor. I'm sure you all have heard of him. Roger Mosley from Magnum P.I. I know him from Magnum P.I., but I also knew him from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Would it be a much bigger disgrace, slap in the face, if they sentenced Carolyn Bryant in absentia? You mean if they suspended her sentence on a murder charge? Oh, most definitely. They could. I mean, murder is a mandatory. I don't know what the sentence is, but yeah, Roger Mosley passed away at the age of 83 years old. Most definitely would be an insult, but because they're sending these Nazis to jail for life at 100 years old. They're going to die. They got to die in prison. They're not dying at home. But Roger Mosley, he died earlier today at the age of 83 years old. Says here that he died after a crash. So he had a car accident that took place, And according to his daughter, Shia, she told the Hollywood Reporter that Mosley was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles due to the accident. He also was in Roots. Yeah, I loved him in the Mac. So Max Julian is dead. All the people from the Mac have died, sadly. So he played in the period piece Leadbelly. He also directed by Gordon Parks. According to the period piece Leadbelly, where he sang the song Midnight Special, he said that Mosley played the part with great strength and called the film one of the best biographies of a musician I've ever seen. That was directed by the legendary Gordon Parks, who directed Shaft. He also played Sonny Liston in 1977's The Greatest. Dogtown Strutters, Hitman, which is a movie he was actually a hitman. Sweet Jesus Preacher Man. But of course, he is known for Magnum PI, which was where he was TC, who was a buddy of the lead character Magnum PI, played by Tom Selleck, who was Vietnam veteran. So he owned and ran the helicopters out there in Hawaii and Oahu called Island Hoppers, which came in handy on the series that aired from December 1980 through May 1988. That was a huge success. Says the Los Angeles native was busy making movies at the time and didn't want a job on television, but his agent talked him into at least doing the Magnum pilot. As Mosley remembered it, his agent told him it's starring this guy, Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck has made about 5 plot shows and none of them have sold. So here's what you do, Roger. Sign up for the show, go over to Hawaii. They'll treat you good for the 20 days it will take to shoot the pilot. You'll get a lot of money, and then you come home. A show with Tom Selleck always fails, and you'll be fine. Well, 8.5 years later, Mosley in real life was a licensed private helicopter pilot, but was not allowed to fly on the series. They had discovered it after he was hired. At the start, the writers had TC as the owner of the struggling helicopter business, but Mosley refused to be the only black person in Hawaii and be broke. And they reversed. They decided Tom would be broke and I would be financially well off, except I was always bailing him out. He also made his character a graduate of Grambling State University, a lover of books and poetry, and a guy who didn't party. He said they always wrote his role to show him smoking and drinking, but he didn't want to do that. He never got high. I never got high, smoke, or drink on the show or in real life. That's not what I want black kids to see. That's what he told Ebony in 1982. Yeah, he made him a Grambling State University graduate, which is huge. So he was promoting HBCUs. So he was raised he's from LA. He was raised by his mother, Eloise, in Watts. He was a wrestler in high school and a swimming coach in the neighborhood. He recounted how he got into acting was with an article in People in 1976, was that he started under Raymond St. Jacques at the Mufaundi Institute of Community Arts School in Watts. When a director from Universal came to lecture the students on self-sacrifice and said, I know actors who had to eat ketchup sandwiches. And Mosley got up and shouted, you have the audacity to tell us to eat ketchup sandwiches for our art. I know people who are eating ketchup sandwiches to survive. We need somebody to give us a break. And that was his start. The director actually told him to visit the studio next week, and he had roles in Hickey and Boss, which is a Bill Cosby. Who's Bill Cosby's partner in I Spy? Oh, I should know this. Robert Conrad, is it? Robert Culp. I'm sorry. Robert Culp. Yeah. Thank you, Terry. Good to see you back, dark skinned brother. Yeah, he was on Sanford and Son. So, just a ton of credits. Yeah, I remember him on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. He was the father of a girl Mark was dating. So he survived by his daughter, we mentioned. He has a son named Brandon. His wife, Antoinette, they were married for 60 years. And grandson, Austin and Rashawn. And he has a host of nieces and nephews. His daughter wrote on Facebook, "We can never mourn such an amazing man. He would hate any crying done in his name. It is time to celebrate the legacy he left for us all. I love you, Daddy. You loved me too. My heart is heavy, but I am strong. I will care for Mommy, your love of almost 60 years. You raised me well, and she is in good hands. Rest easy." Rest in peace, brother Roger Mosley of Magnum PI fame. I also loved him in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. But rest in peace, brother. You are well missed, and I'm sorry he passed the way that he did in a car accident. But may he rest in peace. All right. So, with that being said, guys, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you like this channel, love this channel, please share it. Hit that like and subscribe button. You know the channel is not monetized, so anything you can do to support us, we greatly appreciate. Also, you can donate to our Cash App, PayPal, and Google Pay. If you would like to support us as well, you can go to the Patreon, as well as emailing us if you want to advertise your business here. We always do that. Also, of course, go to Kindle and buy The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. That's available now. Please go and purchase that. Go to Video Soul and purchase that, as well as Gotta Get On Up, ladies and gentlemen, which is our theme song. So as we have gotten on down, it's now time to get on up. I will be back Tuesday for another show. I will see you all in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Love you.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop. I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Rest in peace, Clu Gallagher as well. Actor of Return of the Living Dead. Rest in peace. Jane Matthews, email me. Hit me up, Jade, email me.